Hello, 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 and happy Monday, everyone. I'm super excited to be here with you today. It is a Monday on March 3rd, 2025. I actually almost said February. We're not in February anymore. And in case you're wondering, let me introduce myself. I am Joanne Barry Cologne, the host of the host of Joanne's Healing Within TV show. I'm a little confused tonight. Where am I? What am I doing? Who am I? Anyway, super excited to be here with you today. I'm going to ask that you take a moment just to share out the show, let everybody know we're here. This is going to be an interesting show. I'm going to ask that you maybe just watch for today, listen for today, and then come back at some point with pen and paper and take some notes because there's going to be a lot of information I'm going to be putting out there specifically for my ladies because, again, the topic for tonight's show is Menopause Revolutionized. And the whole purpose of that is because I want to bring you into the know. I want to give you a different way of looking at things. And I want you to better understand what's going on with your body and remembering that you are a spiritual being having multitudes of human experiences. And a part of those experiences is very much this process of menopause. So before we go further into the conversation, I want to give a shout out to my partners that do make this show run week after week after week. There is a flyer. We're going to start off with Joe Monkman, who is our personal development teacher. And then we have Kitty Budaway Fox. She is our storytelling astrologist. And then, of course, me. So all that being said, let's dive in. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. I want to start off by just talking about the energy of the month of March. Now, if you thought that January and February were quite interesting, or you haven't seen anything just yet, the month of March is quite busy. We have a lot going on. We kicked off the month right off the bat on March 1st with a retrograde. We literally from February 20, I think it was 23rd or 27th, no, 23rd, we went retrograde free, meaning there was no planets retrograde for about 5 days. And then here came March 1st, boom, Venus begins its retrograde in Aries. Now, if you do not know what Venus is about, what she represents, Venus is about you. It's about the physical body. It's about your relationships with everyone and anything, people, places, and things. It's also related to your money and also, I did say your body and about beauty as well. So there's a lot going on with Venus in Aries. Now, Aries is your I am statement. Who are you? How do you show up? How do you want people to see you? Now, there's a lot of back and forth between Venus in Aries and then Venus in Pisces. And we're going to get to see that in the month of March because Venus literally just came out of Pisces in February, moved into Aries, and will return back into Pisces at the end of the month on, to be exact, by March 28th. So please keep that in the back of your mind because Pisces and Aries are going to have this dance with each other. Pisces is the last zodiac sign, so it's the ending of an astrological cycle. Aries is the first zodiac sign, so it's the beginning of an astrological cycle. And that's really important when we think about this energy in the conversation that I'm having with you when we use the word cycles in regards to what is actually going on. Now, if you're not familiar with the term retrograde, what retrograde means, based on the first two letters, R-E, it's a review of something. So you're reviewing your life. Now, the last time we had Venus in a retrograde in Aries, believe it or not, was back in 2011. So if you want to think back to 2011 and see what was going on in your life at that time, there may be a mirror reflection of that time that either A, you're going to be doing some reviewing on and maybe doing some making up, or you might just recognize all the work that you've done and here you are today. So pay attention to that. So in addition to this energy, we also had Mercury as of today, people. Oh my God, today at exactly 4:04 a.m., Mercury entered Aries. So now we do have a conversation going on between Venus and Mercury. Even though Venus is in retrograde in Aries and Mercury's not yet, that will be changing. So there's a lot to be said about that, because Mercury is about the experience that you're about to have and how this is going to really play out with your physical body and what's going on with your physical body. Now, again, I want to put it out there for my ladies so you're very much aware that whatever is going on with your physical body, I encourage you to keep a notebook and jot down whatever's going on an emotional level as well, because they are connected, and we'll talk more about that. So I want to keep moving because there's a lot to talk about. So in addition to Mercury moving into Aries as of today, we also have the full moon that's coming up on, full moon coming up on March 14th, which is going to be in Virgo. Now, when we speak about Virgo's energy, Virgo is about your nervous system and it's about health and fitness. So again, that's a biggie. And full moons are about what are we releasing. And in order to release something means we have to let it go, and it's got to go through our bodies to do that. In addition, I did say that Mercury's going to retrograde. Yes, Mercury's going to retrograde on March 15th. Going to retrograde in Aries. So at that point in time, we're going to have both Venus and Mercury in retrograde in Aries. Then we move on. As we get towards the end of March, where we're no longer in Pisces season, and at that point we're going to be in Aries season, we will have Venus entering back into Pisces in a retrograde on March 27th. And then Mercury will also backspin into Pisces on March 28th. And here's the biggie. On March 30th, I wonder what's going to go on in November. On March 30th, Neptune will be moving out of Pisces, where it's been sitting for the last 14 years. So again, a really big transition is about to take place and ending. And Neptune is about our spiritual evolution. Neptune is literally helping us to evolve. Now, when it's in Pisces, it could be delusional, it could be dreamy, it could be helping us tap into our psychic abilities and our intuition, which I truly believe it has. And one of the reasons why we're going to be having this conversation about menopause revolutionized. So when we think about Neptune moving into Aries on March 30th, that's going to be a whole new astrological cycle. And then, not going to go too much into it because it's really further out. In May, we have Saturn moving into Aries. And why is this important? Both Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries, a whole astrological new cycle, which again, helping us to really understand our I am statement, because that's what Aries is all about. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you here to do? What is your purpose and what is your legacy? That is all about Aries. So what I do ask that you do is take some time to look at your natal chart to see where you have Aries on your chart, because that house placement is what's going to get lit up, especially with all this energy that's sitting in Aries and Pisces. So those two houses, which will be next to each other, will be lit up the entire course of March. As we are in Pisces season now, and we do have a lot of energy in Pisces. We currently have the Sun, the North Node, and both of them are associated with who we're here to become. We have Neptune and Saturn, which you're aware, I just spoke of them. Saturn is about your restructuring. It's your karmic reset, and it's your foundation. And it's your physical foundation regarding your body. So your body is being restructured. Your body is literally let's just say your body's under construction right now. So if you are experiencing all these funky symptoms and we're blaming it on menopause, well, I want to bring you onto the table and have a conversation with you, because it's more than menopause. It's really a portal into who you are here to really become. So I want you to pay attention to this energy. And I want to pull a card. I want to get you prepared. I want to bring you into the know, because this is going to be a juicy conversation. It's going to be a fun conversation. It's going to be insightful. And my mission and intention for today's show is that you walk away learning something that you did not know before, and then possibly being able to apply this information that I'm going to be giving to you today into your daily life. So this way here you can have a different approach to whatever it is you've been dealing with already. Because again, when we think about that Saturn energy, Saturn is about helping us to change our perception and our beliefs of what we've been conditioned to believe for the last give and take 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years on this earth. Because we are here, literally, we have to look at things in a different way. I'm inviting you to really take the opportunity to tap onto your third eye, literally right between your eyebrows. Tap on to your third eye so you get in the habit of using your third eye so you can see beyond what's in front of you. Because when you start to do that, that's where you get to tap into your intuition, because your third eye is like the key that opens up your gut knowing, which is your solar plex energy, and then opens up your sacral chakra, which is where all your creativity is sitting and hopefully being used. Or for some of you, it may be a little stuck or blocked. And we're going to talk about that and what that actually shows up as in regards to the menopausal symptoms. So let's get that card pulling. All right. Card for the day. Perfect card. Surrender. And that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to surrender everything and anything that you once knew about, what you've been told, what you've been taught, what you've been conditioned to believe about the cycle of life for women. Let it all go today. The only thing I want you to hold on to regarding the cycle of life for women is what's called the moon cycle. That beautiful moon that we get to see in the sky, whether it's a crescent moon, a half moon, or a full moon, or during those times where we don't see the moon at all because it's a new moon, those phases are part of a woman's cycle that leads into all the emotion up and down that we go through, and we wonder why. We sit back and say, are we lunatics or what? It has a lot to do with the lunar energy. So surrender everything that you've known up until now about everything except the lunar cycle. The color is green, which is about your heart center. This is about tapping into the matters of your heart. And this should be a really big topic. It should be sitting on your heart because there's just so much information out there. And again, I want to bring a different spin to this conversation. The number 6-8 adds up to 14, which is 5. So this is about a change that I am hoping you're going to embark on, that you're going to walk away with a whole different approach to this thing called menopause that has, theoretically speaking, been researched and has science to back it up. And goodness gracious, could you imagine that the research and the science was really, men are the ones who did the research. And I just find this so funny. I laugh all the time when I hear men talking about what menopause is and what a woman is experiencing, because in my mind it's like, how on earth do they even know? Because the reality of it all is women don't really know, because we have been conditioned and programmed to believe something based on what we call the logistics, the human sides of things. And today I bring you the spiritual and the metaphysical side of menopause, which is why it's all about the Menopause Revolutionaries topic for tonight. So there's your card, and what I'm going to do, there's a flyer with my information on that's going to pop up, a beautiful purple lavender flyer. If you want to reach out to me, you can go ahead and do so. My information is somewhere on there. I believe there's a number. Yes, somewhere, maybe. There's an email. Everything you need to know about me is there. Feel free to reach out, and of course you know where to find me. I'm everywhere on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, I'm there. We're going to take that quick commercial break. We're going to come back and we're going to dive right back into some more of this amazing conversation. I'll be right back. Well, that was a hot commercial now, wasn't it? In case you're wondering, I'm going to eventually be announcing that I am also the founder of a magazine called Holistic Healing. And later I'll talk more about that. However, I want to bring my card back up to the conversation, as I always do, in case you missed the beginning. The card of the day is surrender. And what I'm asking you to surrender today is everything and anything that you once knew about menopause and what that all means scientifically, based on the research, et cetera, and the whole list of different things that women experience. They go to the doctors to find out what it is they're experiencing, what's going on, and the final word that they walk out knowing is, oh, theoretically, it's menopause. The chakra here is the heart, so it is really about the matters of the heart, because again, when a woman is going through some sort of changes in her body, she wants answers, and she's willing to accept whatever answers that come in. And most of the time, when one goes to the doctor, most of the time there's prescription that's being handed to them to cater to whatever the issue is. Ideally, that number 6-8, I want to bring change to this topic. I want to change the whole thing, because again, when we add medicine to any symptom, there's a good probability there's going to be side effects to those symptoms. So, to that medication. Hold on one second. So I do want you to be aware. Now, what I'm going to do is I have a list of symptoms that I'm going to run through right now. And then one by one, I'm going to give you the breakdown of what each of these symptoms mean metaphysically. Because I think by now, for most part, just based on what the words are, the words themselves theoretically gives their own definition to what it is. And the other thing I want you to also pay attention to as I run down this list, I want you to check off or write down any of what I am saying. Write it down if it applies to you, because then this way here you can bring it together and get a better understanding to what is actually happening in regards to whatever the symptoms are that's going on for you. So I want you to pay attention to that. I also want to be mindful of my time, so give me one moment. I'd like to know where I am, so don't go away. All right, there we go. So like I said, I'm going to run through a list, and then I'm going to come back and give you an explanation behind each of the things I mentioned in the list. So the first one, which is really common, hot flashes. Second one is heart discomfort. Third one, sleep problems. Fourth one, depressive mood. And keep in mind that when I'm saying them in the list, they're not in any special order. It's just how I'm writing it down. And it's for my brain to remember that I read it, just in case I go off on a tangent. Next one is irritability. Irritability. That's a common one. Next one after that is anxiety. To follow, physical and mental exhaustion. Next one, and when I say this next one, I sort of changed up the words a little bit, because I want to keep the show what do they call that, appropriate. We're going to go there. We don't want it to be X-rated. The next one is dryness, VJJ. And then the next one after that is joint and muscle discomfort. And like I said, I'm going to go through each and every one of these symptoms that I've just mentioned and give you the metaphysical explanation behind it. Because again, I want to remind you, I'm going to remind you this over and over and over again. We are spiritual beings having multitudes of human experiences. And if you really think back to 2020, when we had the pandemic, when every one of us was forced to sort of quiet down and be still, well, that was sort of like one of the gateways getting us into this level of tapping into our intuition and becoming more intuitive. And if we really take it back to when, again, Neptune stepped into Pisces back in 2011, that was when the spiritual evolution actually activated us, because Pisces is all about your psychic abilities, your dream state, your imagination, your fantasy, and your delusions as well. And on the denser note, it could be about addictions. So when we think about these symptoms that many women have, I mean, if you sat with a group of women and started having a conversation about what you're experiencing, there's a good probability many of you will check off a lot of these so-called symptoms that is being diagnosed as menopause. And I want to read something to you in regards to what does menopause mean metaphysically. Because we all know that what menopause is in reference to science and research. In science and research, we talk about perimenopause, which theoretically for the average woman happens somewhere in the age of, let's say, late 30s to maybe mid 40s. And it's basically where you go one full year without a cycle. One full year where your cycle completely stops. And then after that one full year, you would then know, and then in what's known as menopause. And menopause is a continuum. There's really no ending to menopause. And the reason being is because menopause is really like the portal that's taking you into your next chapter of life. So here's a metaphysical explanation behind menopause. What menopause means is entering a new cycle of life, a new phase of inner wisdom, self-reflection, and power. Now, what usually happens for the average woman, because we have been conditioned to believe that once we enter that stage of perimenopause and we've gone that full year without a cycle, that life ends. Because at that point in time, you now know that you no longer can birth and create. And when you've been told this, that this is what the cycle of life is going to happen, and all the different symptoms that may come on with it, that puts you in a state of anxiousness. That puts you in a state of thinking like, my life is over. So you do lose the sense of your inner strength, your inner wisdom, and your power within yourself, which is one of the reasons why, again, all of these symptoms do occur, because you're literally out of alignment to who you are as a woman in the next stage of life. Whereas when we think about it, and what I've been told, because I'm not there yet, is that when you do hit 60 and 70 and 80, that's really like the golden years of life and freedom. You're living your life in freedom, and hopefully you're healthy enough to truly live your life in freedom, because you don't have anything else to weigh you down, so to speak. You, at that point in life, your children are out of the house. They probably have children of their own, and hopefully you're playing the grandma role, where you're not keeping the kids in the home with you the whole time, but you send them out. You're enjoying your partner if you have a partner, or if not, you're enjoying your single life and enjoying doing the things you're enjoying doing in your freedom. And that is really the energy of what this new phase of life should really be. However, because we have been conditioned, programmed, I mean, we have been drilled in the head, especially most recently. I don't know about you, but I don't remember ever hearing about menopause as much as we hear about menopause now. I don't remember hearing about it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, definitely not 40 years ago. All of a sudden, it's like everywhere you turn, that's all they're talking about. It's menopause. Oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. So are you here? And I like to believe that, how about if we're going to talk about this, how about we find a positive outlook to what this is, and not look at it as like, oh my God, it's the end of life, because it's not the end of life. So let me break it down. Some of these symptoms I have spoken about in previous conversations, maybe even here. So you might have heard a few of the symptoms defined already. And if so, that's great. And if not, that's great too. So let's start off with hot flashes, because hot flashes is a common one for most people, most women, and even men for that matter. And by the way, if you're wondering, men too go through menopause. It's a different process. They don't talk about it a lot, but they have pretty much the same symptoms as women do. It's just that it's not spoken about as freely as women. Because one thing different about men and women, women will get together and have a whole conversation about this. Men will sort of just go about their day and whatever, whatever. So again, so hot flashes. What is a hot flash metaphysically speaking? Again, as I mentioned, being that we are spiritual beings and we are becoming more attuned to connecting with, I'm going to refer to as the afterlife. So loved ones has crossed over, archangels, fairies, whatever have you, ancestors, where when we are in the process of speaking with the afterlife, our body temperature is going to change. And because our body temperature changes, that brings on a hot flash. Now you might be asking, well, why is it I get a hot flash when I'm sleeping? And that's a good question. And the answer to that question is when you are sleeping, especially, and I really want you to pay attention to this, especially during the hours of like 3 o'clock-ish. So if you're ever looking at the clock and you see yourself seeing 3:21 or 3:33 or 4:44 or 4:56 or those odd numbers 4:11, and you're being woken at those weird hours of the day or early morning, which again, the newest thing that we're hearing is that when you're being woken during that time, it's because your cortisol level is too high. Again, when we're being woken on those hours, it's because, again, that's the easiest time for spirit to connect with you because you are the most relaxed, calm, and extremely vulnerable for them to come in. So there's a good probability that, again, if you are waking in the middle of the night and you are having hot flashes, because you had a visit from a loved one. So just to put the end to that idea and wonder, oh my God. So the next time you are having a hot flash, take note of how long your hot flash lasts. It's a good probability your hot flash is only really going to last for like 2 minutes. And then your body temperature is going to change. It may end up happening again. Ideally, the key to hot flashes, once you get it under control and you understand that it's really the connection with spirit, and when you're meditating, when you're realigning your chakras, all of these different reasons for why a hot flash would show up. It's really just your body temperature changing because you are connecting with different entities from the afterlife. Now, a little cure for your hot flash, and I may not have a cure for all the symptoms that I have here, but I may have a few. So for your cure for your hot flash, when you are experiencing them, just to cool your body back down until you learn to manage the connection with spirit, I recommend getting yourself peppermint oil, a high quality peppermint oil, and put it on the bottom of your feet, your wrists, and the back of your neck. Because of the peppermint oil being cool, it will cool down your body. And you can actually apply it on the bottom of your feet when you go to bed at night to help you keep your body temperature down. It's also a really good oil to use when you are running fever. And often, something I've come to learn recently is that when we are going through a spiritual evolution, our body temperature does run high, which looks like a fever. And the fever is just a representation that, again, we have spirit all around us. So I want you to pay attention to that. The next one is heart discomfort. Now, there's so many different layers of heart discomfort. One most common is heart palpitation, where your heart starts to race. And when we think about heart starting to race, think about the heart is your heart chakra. And what you may actually notice when this is happening, it's usually happening when we are experiencing multiple planets shifting. So when we have a full moon or a new moon, or we have an eclipse, eclipse coming in, or like we just recently had where Venus went retrograde in Aries, and then today Mercury entered Aries, that can create a lot of energy in the heart and causing the heart to start to race. Same thing with shortness of breath. Shortness of breath is the same concept where when we think of the metaphysical concept of shortness of breath, it's like you're trying to catch up to yourself. So you're always feeling like you're out of breath. And that's the metaphysical explanation of being short of breath, because it's like you're trying to catch up. And the idea of it is you're not supposed to try to catch up. Slow yourself down, come more in a state of peace and calmness, and allow things just to flow with more ease. Because when you allow things to flow with more ease, you'll become more aligned with everything that's going on around you. One thing you want to remind yourself that you are energetically connected to everything. So pay attention to what it is you are listening to, pay attention to what it is you're watching, pay attention to the people you're hanging out with, because they are definitely being a part of your heart discomfort, depending on what's going on in their world. And when you want to be realistic about things, there's a lot going on in our world right now that could be causing a lot of heart palpitations, because there's so much going on. And we are so sensitive that we really need to learn how to shut it down and not be so bombarded with all that is going on in the external world. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick commercial break. And before we do, there's a flyer with my information on there. Now, again, there it goes. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. If you wish to schedule a reading with me because you want to get a little go deeper with this, feel free to reach out. healingwithin76 at gmail.com. And we're going to take that quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to continue with the rest of the symptoms that we have going here, because there's a whole lot going on. I'll be right back.
Hi everyone, Kitty Buda Foss, the storytelling astrologer, reader of the stars, and I'd like to invite you to join me on Intuition of the Soul on Facebook, a free private Facebook group where I post a daily energy reading all about how you can navigate your day. Also reach out at intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com if you want a personalized reading to find out about how your circuitry works. Namaste.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hello and welcome back. If you're just joining, you are watching Joanne's Healing Within. I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. You can always come back and watch from the very beginning, so you haven't missed anything. You can watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. You can also listen on Audible, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, everywhere for that matter. Anyway, I am chatting with you about Menopause, Revolutionaries. I'm sharing specific symptoms that many women experience during this phase of their life. And there's so many of them. And I had asked from the beginning that you sort of write down the ones that I've listed earlier to see what you're experiencing. I am giving the metaphysical explanation behind the symptom because we already know what the medical explanation is. So we're moving on to sleep problems. Now, when we talk about sleep problems, it's very similar to when I mentioned about the time, that if you're waking up at different hours of the night, and I ask that you look at the clock when you wake up, and I know that would be weird. I've gotten attuned that when I get up in the middle of the night, when I'm woken, whether it's to go pee or just because I woke up, I always take a look at the clock, and I keep it in my mind so when I wake in the morning, I can remind myself the time that I woke. If you know anything about numerology, every number has a specific meaning. So, for example, if you're waking up at, let's say, 3:21, that number adds up to the number 6. And number 6 is all about your nervous system. It's also about health and fitness. So maybe the message there is really about organizing some time to take care of yourself and become a healthier version of who you are. So there's always a hidden message behind the time that's showing up for you. And that could be the reason why you've been woken, because spirit is trying to get your attention. And we're most vulnerable when we are sleeping to wake us up. So that's the sleep problem aspect. Where again, one of the things I would recommend before going to bed at night is doing what's called a meditation, whether it's a breathing meditation or get outside and put your feet in the dirt to ground you. The more grounded you are, the more you're going to be relaxed. So when you're ready to go to bed, you're ready to go to bed. Also, another oil that I would recommend to help you calm yourself down would be lavender. Placing lavender on your wrist or the back of your neck to calm you down. So this way here, when you do go to bed, you're going to have a better night's sleep. Remembering too, with all this energy we have going on with our planets, if you're like me, you're sensitive to the energies. I know for me, the moment that we went from February into March, the night of, I was up. I had a challenging time sleeping because of the shift of the energy of the month. The moment we went from Aquarius into Pisces, I was up. I'm very sensitive to the change of the energy because every month and every zodiac sign carries energy within itself. And if you're like me, with all this energy that's in Pisces, you're probably very wired. I know for me, because it is my sun energy. By the way, people, my birthday's tomorrow. You can wish me a happy birthday tomorrow if you like. I also have my North Node in Pisces. So right there, that's a lot of energy. And then Venus in Pisces. So when Venus backs into Pisces again, I'm going to have three placements in my personal chart in Pisces. And let's not forget that we still have Neptune and Saturn there. So for me, that's going to be five planets sitting in that placement for me. So that itself, I know what I need to do to sort of help me get a better night's sleep. And a lot of it is really about making sure I calm myself down, being very aware of my nutrition and that I'm not consuming things that's going to keep me awake, minimizing or cutting out altogether certain foods that will air, ed, chew, not sleeping well. So you do have to take a lot of things in consideration if you are experiencing sleep problems because there's a lot of energy that's actually going on. We're going to move on. The next one is depressive mood. Now, the metaphysical meaning behind depressive mood is disconnected from higher power and loss of being. Loss of being. What does that mean? So when you're disconnected from your higher power, it means you've lost a sense of someone who's higher than you. The loss of being is the loss of you. You've lost yourself somewhere. Because remember, at this point in time in your life, prior to this point in time, you might have had a lot of different titles. You might have had your children probably were home. They were calling you mom. You probably had a job. You were a wife. Whatever your different titles are, and now here you are in the stage of your life where, like, okay, who am I without all these different titles? Remember, now that we're going to be moving into all this Aries energy, Venus retrograde in Aries, Mercury in Aries will retrograde soon in Aries. Aries is the identifier of who am I. So this is your time now that if you are experiencing that depressed mood, this is your time now to really start to reinvent who you are. Who are you? This may be a perfect time with Venus in Aries to go and get a makeover. I'd recommend that you do that now before Venus moves into Pisces. Although theoretically Venus likes to be in Pisces, however, when it's retrograde, not so much. Anyway, so this is your time to sort of reinvent who you are. Start evaluating who you are without all those other titles. Who am I without the title of holistic personal trainer, holistic integrated teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master numerology, card creator, card reader? Who am I without all of that? That is a compassionate, kind, sensitive, empathic, loving being is who I am without all the other stuff. Because I've identified who I am. And that's what I want you to do is identify who you are so you don't feel that depressed mood, feeling disconnected. Get connected with like-minded women that are on the same path as you so you can discover who you are from a soul level. not a superficial level. You already know that version of you, and that version of you doesn't exist anymore because it's an old version of you. You are redefining who you are, and it's time to recognize that. And we have so many different things going on around us that are ending, helping us to really redefine how we are reinventing ourselves. So, next one is irritability. Oh my God, irritable. Oh my goodness gracious. When your moods, when you're funky, when you're just not feeling yourself, whatever it is, irritable. And what that just really means is that you're being out of alignment. You're not aligned. You're not aligned. You're not aligned with yourself. You have absolutely no idea. You're disoriented. You have been conditioned. You have been programmed. You're like a robot. You sort of just go into the motion every single day based on what you've been programmed to believe. It's time to take that battery out, recharge it, put it back in, and reinvent yourself. Just as I said with the depressed mood, same thing with irritability. It's time to bring yourself back into alignment. And different ways that you can bring yourself back into alignment. The easiest way is meditation. It does not have to be where you sit in lotus position and you're doing you're in that oming energy. Although oming, om, is really powerful, and even humming is really powerful because humming actually realigns your vagus nerve. So those are two really powerful things that you can do to sort of bring you back into alignment to who you really are, your true self. Because up until now, you've probably been wearing a mask and nobody really knows who you really are. You don't know who you really are. So take the mask off. Start looking at yourself in the mirror and start really connecting. Meditation, OM, humming, barefoot outside, let your feet touch the dirt, let your feet touch the ground. Dance, move your body. One of my favorites is post progressive overload strength training. Move your body, restructure your physical body so you can be more attuned to who you are spiritually. Become more intuitive so you can start to reconnect and realign without being told how to do it. Moving into the next one, anxiety. Anxiety means disconnection from one's true self, lack of inner peace, and so focus on what happened then and what's going to happen that you're losing track of where you are right now. And ideally, to bring you back to the present moment, what I would definitely recommend, if you have not done so already, go get yourself the book, The Power of Now, and learn how to be in the now. Forget about what happened yesterday. Don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Focus on right now so you can realign your energy and you won't feel so anxious and overwhelmed and distracted. Next one, physical and mental exhaustion. Now, with this one, what I hear a lot is that we're physically and mentally exhausted because of quote unquote the hormone imbalances, the cortisol levels, the high insulin levels, all of that plays a role from what we're conditioned to believe. However, the physical mental exhaustion is really about you are spiritually burnt out. You are spiritually burnt out. You are depleted of your spiritual energy because you're not doing anything to align yourself spiritually speaking. We need to be in practice. We need to practice every day. We need to, first thing in the morning, sit, quiet ourselves down, connect, pray, set intention, be grateful. Allow yourself to heal your heartbeat. Give yourself just a moment to be in your physical body. Give yourself a moment to feel what it feels to be in your physical body. It's time to allow yourself to be spiritually aligned. And a big part of that spiritual alignment is going to be the things you're putting into your body as well. So if you're finding that the food you're eating is not serving your purpose, energetically, we want to put food in our bodies that's going to give us energy. We want to put food in our body that's going to fuel and feed our body. It's not about restricting. It's not about dieting. It's not about calorie deficit. It's about learning how to fuel your body with the right food that's going to help you bring things back into alignment and light the fire within your energy because you are spiritually burnt out. So take this time to perhaps sit and evaluate what is it you're eating? What foods are you quote unquote craving? Your foods that you're craving is your body's way of letting you know what it is you need. So if you're craving sweets, it's because you've lost the sweetness of life. So what do you need to do to bring more sweetness into your life? What fills you up? What makes you excited? What gives you an excuse the expression? What gives you that orgasm? Because that's what you want to have in your life. That's what's going to bring the sweetness back in. That's literally what's going to bring the juices back in. We have to start paying attention to the foods that we are craving. If you're craving salty food, what is your body thirsting for? Because salty food and water play a huge role together. So pay attention to what it is your body's actually asking for. What is it you're looking for? Because your body is literally giving you the answers on how to bring yourself back to alignment and how to really refuel your system. Moving on, which is such a perfect gateway into the next symptom. As I mentioned, trying to keep the show rated G and not X, dryness VJJ. What does that mean? And that's a common one because, again, when we think about it for women specifically, when they reach a certain point in life, we sort of, I don't know, maybe we don't feel attractive anymore. So because we're not feeling attractive, we're not appealing. So we sort of shy away from intimacy. And when we start shying away from intimacy, when you know that old expression, if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, in theory, that's exactly what it is. If you're not doing things to keep everything moist and wet, that's exactly what's going to happen. So here's the symptom to dryness VJJ: not connecting with your creative self, not allowing things to flow, a lack of flow in your spiritual energy. This is why, if you are experiencing that dryness, or when you are being intimate and you find it just too painful, you have to bring yourself back into alignment. My recommendation is, with your partner, do some chakra alignment together. With your partner, where you both sit in complete nude, you face each other, and you literally connect with each of your chakras together. Bring that energy back in, reconnect so things can start to flow. Otherwise, yes, you're going to be as dry as a desert. Simple and easy. If you don't use it, you lose it. And that could be one of the reasons why your creative juices in reference to the things you're looking to create aren't flowing either. Because when your body's not aligned, everything in your external world is not aligned. All right, next one, moving it along. Joint and muscle discomfort. What does that mean? Now, many women are experiencing what we call the frozen shoulder, knee discomfort, hip joint discomfort, chronic back pain. Oh my God. Could there be anything more? We want to remember that every part of our body has a specific message. Every part of our body is associated with a specific chakra. So just to run through and then we'll give the meaning. If you are someone who has or experiencing frozen shoulder, think about it. Frozen means it's stuck. When we think about the word shoulder, shoulder is about should. I should be doing it. I should be doing that. I should be doing that. So what your shoulder is actually telling you is freeze all the shoulds. Throw the shoulds out. There's actually nothing you should be doing. Everything that you're saying you should be doing, you should want to do. Bottom line. You're sitting there pointing your finger out and saying they should be doing it this way. No, it's none of your business what they should be doing. Learn how to just focus on you and stop focusing on everybody else. When we think about our hips, when they get stiff, they get tight. Hips are all about making decisions. What decisions are you not making? What decisions are you not happy with someone else making or not making? Remember, if they're not your decisions to be made, you got to let go of them. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna walk around like the Tin Man because you're so concerned about what everybody else is doing. You're a sensitive being. You feel everything. Let it go. Give your body some time just to relax and move into a state of peace and calmness. And just see how when you do that, you let go of all the stiffness that's going on in your body. Because again, your body is just trying to tell you something that needs to be realigned. So when we think about joint and muscle discomfort, what we're really saying is being out of alignment, true self, disconnected from our inner strength. Because we're so damn focused on everything else that's going on around us, we're not paying attention to us. As I said earlier, you are in your time of life where everything's in freedom. You are living your freedom now. Freedom. This is your time to be in freedom. You should not be worrying about all this other nonsense that's around you. Bring yourself back in a state of homeostasis. Come back into a state of balance. Come back in a state of peace. Come back into a state of calmness. And once you do, you will find that everything you're experiencing in your body over time will start to feel better. And remember that hydration plays a big role. You have to water yourself like you would a plant. You have to put yourself outside in the sun like you would a plant. Because your body needs all this nourishment. And if you're not doing these things, if you're too busy focusing on everything else, then yes, you're going to be totally out of alignment. So there you have it. There you have it. So I've said a lot. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you a rundown and conclusion, and then we're going to be done with the show. So let's take that commercial break. Did you know we are in the age of Aquarius? It's all about finding your tribe, making connections, collaborations, networking, being inspired, being empowered, and transforming. Hello, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the founder of Holistic Fitness NY and Women Empowering Women. I'm a Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, holistic integrated teacher, and card creator. Women Empowering Women meets the second Monday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I would love to invite you in as my VIP guest. To redeem your VIP invitation, email healingwithin76@gmail.com or go to holisticfitnessny.com. I do promise that you will be inspired, empowered, and make connections. I look forward to seeing you on the second Monday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, we are back. If you are just diving in and just joining me for the first time, please go back later and watch from the very beginning, as you missed an amazing show. In case you're not sure what you're watching, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and you're watching Joanne's Healing Within. And today's topic is all about menopause, Revolutionaries. And what a topic it was. If you are a woman between the ages of, let's say, 30 to above, this is definitely a topic you want to pay attention to. I said and defined many symptoms that many women do experience, and I gave them metaphysical explanation to them. What I do ask that you do is take some time to come back, re-listen, run down the list that I give, check off whatever it is that you relate to, and then really sit and listen to the metaphysical explanations behind each symptom. Because again, once you have an understanding of the metaphysical meanings behind these symptoms, you'll have another way of looking at menopause. We have been programmed and conditioned to believe that menopause is the end of life. And reality of it all is menopause is really the gateway to revolutionizing your journey of where you are going in this lifetime. You are a spiritual being having multitudes of human experiences. And every one of these symptoms that you may be experiencing is just your body's way of letting you know that you're being realigned, recentered, and reinvented for you to know who you are from a soul level. So with all that being said, again, just come back later and watch the show if you've missed it. If you haven't missed it, I want to thank you for being here with me. We're going to dive into some of the promos that are going on. So we're going to start off with get featured in the Holistic Healing Magazine, my brand new magazine. If you are an author, an expert at writing, if you are someone in business, want to run an ad, I ask that you reach out to me. All the information is right there. I'm super excited. The first issue will be coming out this Wednesday on March 5th, so you'll be able to grab yours. It's digital and in print. In addition, 52 weeks astrological and numerology course. Because this course was a 12-week course, I've expanded it to really help you better understand who you are, again, on a soul level. So again, for my women out there who are experiencing the exchange of life, astrology and numerology is definitely the key to helping you better understand who you are on a soul level. So come join me in the class. Information's there. I look forward to seeing you. Last but not least, we have Joe Monkman, who's offering his Spirit Messages and Energy Insight class again. Meets every Tuesday for 6 weeks. So all his information is there. Please reach out to him. All that being said, this was an amazing, amazing show, if I don't say so myself. I look forward to seeing you all again in April, first Monday of the month. Looking forward to see what topic I share at that point. Again, if you have comments, questions, if you wish to get a reading, if you wish to learn more about the symptoms you're experiencing, if you need more support, you can reach out to me. My flyer is going to pop up. You can reach out to healingwithin76@gmail.com. And it was really a delight. I love this topic, and I could talk about this topic all day, and I will and continue to help every one of you better understand what menopause is and how menopause is really the portal taking you to help you better understand who you are from a soul level. I will see you all again next month. For now, enjoy the month of March. Bye-bye for now.